soup.
I chicken out and send a picture of my face instead because my dick looks like the baby from Eraserhead. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. I'm Max.
I'm Chris.
I'm Darcie.
This
I
is
like your
episode
reference there.
48.
I know, I was trying so hard not to laugh. I was like, I'm Darcie.
Please laugh it up. How are we doing this week?
Yeah, doing all right. It's been the week's gone really quickly for me. I don't know about you guys.
It actually has. I was sitting up at the Lido earlier and I said, oh, this time last week we were preparing to go out for whatever Zanzi's is now. And I was like, what the fuck? It's been a week?
Yeah, I think it's because I spent most of the time like dying of the plague.
Oh, yeah. Chris was very much having the man flu or something. I don't know what happened when you guys went out into that sea, but a lot of you died.
Yeah, I think it's just because it was cold.
I didn't
Cold
die.
and water doesn't mix well.
I was surprised though, because I was literally wearing clothes and I didn't die.
But yeah, because of that, obviously we couldn't meet up this week to do the film marathon, so we've pushed that back a couple of weeks.
Sad times, guys.
Yeah, I feel fine.
I was confused. Yeah. I'm glad that you're doing all right as well.
What happened out there?
I'm mostly all right now. The worst of it was on Monday, which was when we were supposed to meet up to watch the films. Like I spent pretty much the entirety of the day in bed because I felt so awful. So how have you been, Max?
For fuck's sake. I've been stressed out. I've been really stressed out this week. It's been a long week full of stress, but I'm glad to say that it's nearly over. It's all over. I'm a lot less stressed out now. I've just had a hectic day at work. But yeah, I was looking forward to doing the podcast because we've got some interesting movies to talk about. Not the movies we thought we'd be talking about. Because you were ill, Chris, we couldn't do the Scooby Doo marathon. Woe betide. But instead, we watched some animated movies on our own, which we'll talk about in a bit. I just wanted to say that in terms of rescheduling, we'll do the Scooby Doo marathon in episode 51 because it's episode 50, sorry. So in episode 50 we'll do the Scooby Doo marathon because episode 49 is going to be the start of a new month and we wanted to do a free-for-all. So the Scooby Doo episode is coming. Hold your horses and just be patient with us.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll talk about Scoob after all.
Yeah, we ain't forgotten about that little guy. What I did want to talk about, though, is The Green Knight. And not a movie review of it, because we haven't seen it. Why haven't we seen it yet? We're not allowed. Still not allowed to see it. When was it supposed to come out? It was supposed to come out in March. And then they pulled it from the UK release, but we've gone over this before. I'm not going to cover all ground. It was available to watch in the cinemas near us. One of them was Winchester, and I think that was the only place that was showing it. Wait, I got the news that Winchester was showing it. I was like, I'll be there. So I go onto the website to book the tickets. How much are tickets? £16 a ticket.
Yeah.
You kidding me? You kidding? £16 a ticket? That's insane. That's daylight robbery. I was so mad.
Yeah, I've been to that particular cinema before because a couple of years ago they were doing a thing with the BFI Film Festival and they were doing a screening of The Irishman 2 months before it came out. I think it was the same price, but I kind of got it because it's a special event thing. It's not just a random movie, and they gave you free popcorn and water at the venue as well. So I was kind of £16 is not great, but it's all right.
For what you were getting. A bottle of water? Are you having a joke,
no,
Chris?
Bottle of water, popcorn, and you're going to this special event, seeing this film simultaneously streamed with the London Film Festival before it comes out.
Wait, and what cinema is it? Is this an art house cinema?
Yeah, this isn't an everyman cinema.
Oh, yes, the fucking Everyman Cinema. I am familiar with the Everyman Cinema because I also paid £16 for a ticket to watch 3 fucking music videos, but I got free sweets. So, I mean, it's a thing. Although it's really nice in there. Like, you get like the nice bar in the background and stuff. Like, the cocktails are lush.
They're a nice cinema, but like, it's a lot of money for one movie.
I don't recommend. I mean, I do if you're boozy enough to want to spend that kind of money, but I wouldn't personally because I'm cheap.
Yeah, I think it's just because obviously Amazon Prime bought the rights for the Green Knight, so now
no one wants to touch it.
Yeah, View and Odeon, they're not going to show it because they don't like showing things that go onto Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Yeah, but the thing is, like you said yesterday, the film is like so, well, I wouldn't say like niche, but there is a particular audience of people that want to watch it, and they're not going to want to watch it on Amazon Prime.
Like Max, for example.
I don't want to watch it on Amazon Prime. I want to see it in a cinema.
Exactly,
Sorry.
You are exactly the audience that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because
it's not going to be the same experience just sitting at home watching it on a TV.
Yeah, it's not especially when it's like you have to have like a certain like setup as well. Like, I know people that have like their own like home like cinema type things where they have like walls that they could just project onto and stuff. But like, you have to have like really, I don't know, it's not the same, is it? Like, you can't just put on a film and go, oh, this is just like it is at the cinema.
No.
No, exactly. Imagine like just being at home and watching it through like TV speakers even. Some people don't even have like external sound systems. Like, it's like, wow, like you're not even getting like half the experience you should be getting.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So we'll wait.
Yeah, there's a cinema that's kind of close to us showing it at the end of October.
Whoa.
So obviously we have to wait another month.
Yeah.
When it's like coming out tomorrow as of recording this. But yeah, I'd rather wait and watch it in the cinema.
I feel like...
Me too.
Yeah, if Max really wanted to, he could probably watch it twice, but I don't think he's going to want to watch it first time on his TV.
No, I want the Prime experience, by which I mean not Amazon Prime experience, but the premium Prime experience on the big screen. That's what I want.
Screen.
And I think I always want to like champion these things where like I want movies to be more accessible to people, and this is actually a piss take at this point. I'm very angry about it.
Do you think that?
But
I was just going to ask. Do you think they do that to try and make it more accessible? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, people can't necessarily, depending on where you are, because here the cinemas are cheap, but back home the cinemas are really fucking expensive. So is this their way of being like, oh, if you use Prime, you can get this film for free? Well, free-ish. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's convenient, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of people who want to see movies in the cinema, but at the same time, the convenience of being able to watch it at home is a lot better for people. I don't blame them for that, especially not like nowadays, when like going to the cinema could like mean the difference between like getting COVID or not.
For me, this like release strategy of just like dumping the films onto streaming, it kind of feels like they have no confidence in the movie. Like they don't care enough about it, and they don't have enough confidence in it being successful to put any money into marketing it properly and putting it into cinemas. They're just kind of dumping it on streaming because they're like, oh, people will watch it on there. Yeah,
but this happens a lot now, especially in the UK. Like, I remember Max saying the other day that the distribution is piss. Or probably not to those words, but I'm going to say that those are the words. Like, I don't understand why if they
like
don't have any confidence or something, like, yes. Why is it that only, I don't know, the UK seem to suffer this sort of penalty of like never getting films either on time, or we get them a year late, or we get them when everyone else has seen them. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's bizarre.
Or like in the case of Sound of Metal, we got it like 2 years later, and it was only on Amazon Prime and like select cinemas.
And that film is phenomenal. What the fuck?
I remember they were supposed to show it in View and Odeon, but because it got put onto Prime, they refused to show it.
It's sad. It is so sad.
Yeah, well, The Green Knight was the same, right?
Mm.
They had it slated for View, but obviously it got taken off when it was announced that it was being pulled from UK cinemas.
But what I don't get is why they let Disney get away with it. Like Disney putting all this stuff onto Disney Plus, but yet still showing it in the cinema. Like, I don't really see the difference there.
Well,
except for the fact that they can't like
you don't know
refuse.
how, like you say, like they're letting them get away with it, but who's they?
Yeah, who are we
Who's letting
talking about?
Disney
We're
get
talking
away
about
with
the,
it?
are you talking about the cinema distributors?
I don't understand why View or Odeon are like, they refuse to show anything if it's bought by Amazon Prime or Netflix and put on there. But if Disney put the films onto Disney Plus, then they just let them do it.
Sure,
and
maybe,
they still show the films in the cinema.
Maybe you might be right, though. Think about it this way. If they have no confidence in something, they're not going to want to show it in their cinemas because they think no one will go and watch it. But Disney, being the overlords that they are, they could put out a film on Disney Plus, charge £20 for it. Cinema can charge 10, and they know that people are going to go and see it. I mean, it's probably not the logic that makes total sense, but to me that does make sense.
Disney have their monopoly on cinema, you know?
Yeah,
I
think that is it.
To show their movies in the cinema because they're the ones who control it. Who the hell is going to refuse Disney? They're a giant.
Yeah, that is so. It's so
they're
scary. They're actually scary.
Yeah, it's a horrible company. I've always said on this podcast that we don't like Disney, but I mean, there's a reason, and I think that people still like come after us for that. It's like, oh, you don't like Disney? How dare you? It's Mickey Mouse. He's
every
lovely.
Week.
You don't like Disney? Cruella was amazing. You suck. Like, no, I just don't want everything that I see in the cinema to be owned by one person, you know, by one company. What's the fun in that? And then it suffocates other movies that we could be seeing, but we're not allowed to see because it's taken up by, I don't know, Black Widow or some shit. Is boring.
Or when they buy a franchise and they have to water it down for the Disney audiences, so it's like more family friendly, and then the content just becomes piss.
I think my least favourite thing that Disney have done multiple times in the last couple of years is where they've bought another studio and then shut the studio down pretty much instantly and just taken the properties that they own. Like with Blue Sky Studios, people who did Ice Age and Rio, they did that last year.
Wow, they really are like corporate evil, aren't they? Like, they're going to come and take down our channel and our podcast.
Going to buy the Sunday movie marathon.
And then shut it down.
Shut it down.
To be fair, they could buy it. I'll just start a new one.
It's not making money. Why would they bother?
Yeah.
Just shut us up, silence us.
What do they care? They get loads of hate. We're not the only people to hate on Disney.
It's true, but, you know, at some point we might want to cash in on that. If they can cash in, I want to cash in.
No, I'm not cashing in. It's my bloody podcast. I get to say what I like about movies. No one can change that, not even Disney.
Disney can't censor us.
See the mouse knocking on our door any day now.
Hell yeah. It's going to be like that episode of South Park where he starts beating up the Jonas Brothers.
I'm telling you, it's coming. It is.
Well, Disney rant over. Darcie and I saw Alien the other day. After some
speaking of things
burgers.
that Disney own.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the food was good, okay? I'm talking halloumi fries and chicken burgers because I am white. It was, I don't really know what, in the confines of our beautiful podcast here, I have no idea how far to take this conversation or what to say.
I'd say be brief about it because it is on the marathon list.
Had you seen Alien before, Darcie?
I have not.
So what did you think about it? Just basic level thoughts?
Fucking phenomenal. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
It's just like, honestly, one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah, it's one of the greats.
I was surprised, to be fair, because I think a lot of people with me, it's a bit unpredictable because people go, oh, you might like it, and then end up hating it, or they might be like, oh, I'm not sure you're going to like it, and then end up loving it. So, yeah, even I was like, fucking hell, I really like that. It was weird.
Yeah. I had seen it before, seen it a couple of times. Never seen it in the cinema, though. And I did like a double bill of Alien, which I saw with Darcie and Reed, friend of the podcast. And then they left me, and then I went to see Aliens. And for the first time, I've never seen Aliens before.
What do you think of that briefly?
Briefly, I'll say it was good. It was very enjoyable. Liked it a lot. Didn't like it as much as Alien, but it was a good action movie for sure.
Yeah. I think Alien is better, but Aliens is, I think, a lot of fun.
Am I allowed to talk about the other film that I watched?
Which one? You watched like 3 of my favourite films in the last week.
Well, 3?
Yeah, because you watched Alien, Blade Runner, and Mulholland Drive, all for the first time.
Oh, no, I was going to talk about Blade Runner.
Go for it.
Okay. Just a shout out to Blade Runner. I fucking love you, Blade Runner.
Shout out to Roy.
I've been asking you to watch this movie for the past month, and you were like, I'll get round to it. Get round to it. I'm saying, this is going to be an amazing movie, Darcie. Stop acting like it's some kind of chore, but you finally watched it. I'm very happy that you enjoyed it.
Right. The truth really is the matter of, not only is everything a chore for me when it comes to sitting down and actually watching things, but a lot of it is also forgetting to watch them. Like, I met my friend today, and I was meant to give them a vinyl that I picked it up. It's still sitting here because I forgot to fucking take it. So a lot of the time, it's just me, like, never getting around to anything. But I'm glad I did, because Roy is my new hero, and I think I might have to jump into some sort of, like, dimension and be with him, because I love him.
Okay.
We love Roy.
It was cool. We love Roy.
Rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. Great actor.
Aww.
It's fantastic. Brilliant in
shit.
that movie too.
Yeah, he's so good. What
We
did you
actually
think
talked
of...
about it on the podcast, but this was like
Yeah, we did.
What?
ages
With
and
Connor
ages ago.
as well.
Oh, what did he think of it? Any good?
I think he thought it was okay. Decent.
Okay.
I think he found it
okay.
boring. I think he said it wasn't really his
boring.
thing.
I gotta admit, there were parts where it's sort of like
It's a slow movie.
Yeah,
It's
teetered a little
slow
bit.
burn.
But I was like, I sort of immersed myself into it. I was like, I'm not gonna check my stuff for a little while. I'm just gonna sort of sit here and force myself to watch it. And it was, it was worth watching. I can see why people love it so much, because it was fucking cool.
Talk
What
about
did you
another
think
Ridley
of-
Scott movie. That's his
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what? I actually, just before I watched it, I wanted to get a level of like how much I might have liked it. So I like looked it up and realised that, right, remember guys, I am not the movie connoisseur here. I'm like the everyday man that just watches movies whenever. But yeah, he didn't direct the second one, so I was like, what the fuck? Because I saw the second one before the first. That was blasphemy. No
Yeah.
one had to hear that.
2049.
Yeah, I didn't know who directed it, so I was
that's
like, oh.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
I also saw 2049 before Blade Runner. So
Oh, okay. So I'm
We're in the
glad
same
I'm not
boat.
the only one. Okay.
yeah. I actually didn't like Blade Runner the first time I saw it though. But
Oh,
I've grown to appreciate it a lot more. That was one of my
Yeah.
favourite films.
I think
it
the
is one of
ending
the
is
greats.
like the best. Like,
Yeah.
holy fuck. Roy's little
The monologue's
the
incredible.
fucking little monologue, and he's sitting in the rain like, "Na, na, na." Oh my god. I fucking love this film.
Wonderful.
And what did you think of Mulholland Drive? Because you watched that for the first time.
What the fuck? What the fuck indeed? I don't really know. It's such a loaded question when people ask me stuff like that, like, oh, what did you think of this film? When I'm watching it and I actually have no idea what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on.
You don't have to go in depth, just I was wondering your surface level opinion.
Oh, surface level opinion is just I really don't know. That I'm still like struggling to get like thoughts together to be like, oh, this was a film about XYZ, and I know it's not really like that because it's David Lynch and it could be it could be all sorts of grey matter, but for me it's it could be an amalgamation of things, and I just don't know what to think of it because I just don't get it. but it probably get a 5 out of 5 just for the boobies alone. So
Nice.
fair play.
There
Yeah,
were
nice
some nice babies.
Some nice ones, yeah.
10 out of 10. Great
Mm.
boobs.
Yeah, storyline.
Put that on the DVD
Boobs,
cover.
Great. That's what it. Darcie Couch. Sunday movie marathon. Rated this. Storyline. Piss. Boobs. Great. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Yeah, I'd watch
There you
it based
go.
on that review.
Thank you.
Brilliant. And on that note, we had some movies we want to talk about. We're going to do some animated movies tonight, boys. So, we had to like say, we'll spin the wheel of movies we could watch alone at home. We've got animated movies, a bit impromptu. So, we're going to kick it off with Chris's recommendation.
Yes. So I struggled to pick something because I was like, I need to pick something that's like accessible and like on Netflix so we can all watch it. So I ended up going with a film that was actually released straight onto Netflix. It's a film called I Lost My Body from 2019, directed by Jeremy Clapin. It's a French movie, and it's all about a character called Nafuel. He's a young man who basically meets this girl and falls in love with her and starts trying to start this relationship with her, while at the same time there's another storyline of a severed hand which has escaped from a dissection lab and is kind of traveling to try and find its body. That's kind of the basic plot of the film without going too deep into it. So what do we all think of this movie?
Well, I've seen it a couple of times now. It's very short, very easily digestible.
Yeah, it's like 82 minutes or so.
Yeah. I think I even watched it in English the first time, but then on the second time I watched it in French, and then this time also watched it in French. I assume you guys did too.
Yeah.
We did indeed.
Yeah. This movie's fucking amazing. This is so good. Holy shit. Literally everything about it is just beautiful, from the animation to the music, which is, I think, some of the best music in an animated movie that I've ever heard.
Yeah, great music.
The themes of kind of trying to change your circumstances, trying to literally detach yourself from fate in a way, resonate with me a lot. Yeah, I just think it's an absolute masterpiece.
I like that. That was a dramatic turn. Chris is looking at me. I did try to watch this once before. Back when I was living at home, and I got about 15 minutes in, and my mum came home, and I thought my mum wouldn't really appreciate watching it, especially if it's not that, she wouldn't sit there and watch a French movie, but when you've had a long day at work, you kind of just want to chill out and not watch an animated film in French. So I never got round to watching it again until we watched. Did we watch it yesterday?
Yeah.
God, yesterday felt like such a day. So we watched it yesterday. I actually really liked it. I kind of thought I was gonna like it when I first saw it because I kind of am a sucker for animated movies in general. But yeah, there was something quite wholesome about this. I mean, I say wholesome, it's actually not very wholesome at all, but I don't know, it kind of was wholesome in a way. Did anyone else feel that, or am I just
yeah,
talking?
kind of. It's very powerful, I'll say that.
Yeah,
there was emotions.
There's definitely emotionally really sad moments, but I definitely think it's kind of inspiring at the same time.
It's kind of
it's very
accurate
cerebral.
It feels like the human experience, doesn't it? I suppose it feels very real, like it could have happened in real life. Apart from the hand thing, actually, little fucking severed hand walking, that would never happen. But the rest of it felt like a real story that could happen.
Yeah, kind of I get a lot out of it from seeing this character kind of breaking away from the normal, breaking away from the path that we kind of feel was set for us as a person and trying to be an ordinary. I think all of that stuff's really interesting. There's also a lot to do with loss as well, because obviously the main character loses his parents at a very young age, and he has like this audio cassette that has like basically the recording of the accident happening that he's like kind of haunted by and constantly returns to, and he's like always going back to these memories like throughout his life when he was like still had his parents with him. You could see how much that's like impacted his life, and I think all that stuff's really powerful as well.
Yeah, he's like a pizza delivery guy now, and he like can't even deliver a pizza. He's so incompetent. He can't even deliver a pizza. He can't open a door. He like eats the pizza himself, while like the person whose pizza it is like listens to him eat their pizza.
Yeah, that was insane.
But I kind of like that he was in this job that's not really going anywhere. Not only is it not going anywhere, he's also shit at it. But
yeah, what a relatable experience
himself,
that is.
Yeah, he kind of takes himself out of that work to pursue something else. Maybe it's that he saw a pretty girl and then he stalked her, and then in order to get closer to her, he took this job as a carpenter, which is like, I think it's like okay, you just walk into this carpentry place and you're like, here's an ad for a job, give it to me, and the guy's like, that job is really, really old. It's not a thing anymore. I can't hire you. And he's like, just hire me anyway. And then he just gets the job that doesn't exist. That's so unrealistic. It would never happen.
It also was a little bit like creepy if you think about it. Like, imagine like going all of that way for someone that you do, like, he never even actually met her either.
Not really.
Well, not properly. Yeah, it was. I just thought it was like really fucking creepy. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it is kind of creepy, but also I do kind of get it. Like, he's had this like really like shit life. He doesn't feel like anything's going well for him, and he finally like sees this light, like something that seems kind of hopeful. So he wants to follow it, even if it is weird the way he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't say like anything was like dangerous or anything like, but it was just, I don't know, if someone had said that to me, like, oh, I took this job because I saw you in the street and you were really attractive, I'd be like, are you what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't know, I just find it really bizarre.
But he likes the job, you know, he likes carpentry. I think I get the sense that he's not just doing it to meet the girl, he's also doing it to change his fate a bit, to veer off the track that he's on. The bike literally exploded, so it's like, what else can you do? But like, this is definitely not for you. You need to go on like a different path, change your own fate.
I feel like that's a good thing though, isn't it? Like, I don't know, like, it kind of resonates with people, doesn't it, when they're like, oh, I'm in this shitty job that I don't want to be doing. And it's just like, just go, just leave.
Yeah.
Just go.
It resonates with me so much. It's like, I feel like when you really want something, you just have to go for it, and it doesn't matter if like you're going to be shit or something, or like you if you don't succeed, it just going for it is showing some kind of agency with your own life, trying to take yourself somewhere that you otherwise wouldn't have gone if you'd just been complacent and stayed exactly where you were. Yeah,
like they say, you regret the things that you didn't do, not the things you did do. Well, there obviously is a degree of sometimes that doesn't work.
To that.
But yeah, but on the level, like in that sort of situation, I would agree that doing something is better than not. Like, if I was still working in my shitty retail job, I'd probably use this film as the final motivation to fucking leave.
Yeah, it's very powerful. It's just got everything to do with like changing your own destiny, carving your own path in life. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, and I think it manages to convey all of that by using so little. Like, they develop the emotions and story of the film, like just using like imagery and music for the most part. There's actually not that much dialogue and stuff, especially related to, I think, the film's overall meanings in the film. And I think that just kind of goes to show just how well crafted it is, that it manages to convey so much using so little.
And with only an hour and 22 minutes, it's insane.
Yeah, they pack it in.
They really do. I don't know if you guys like cried at all. I did.
No.
Jesus Christ. It just hits so hard, you know? It's like, it is like endlessly relatable to me. It's like so impactful. There's like a part where he says, I want to be an astronaut and a pianist. It's like, you can't do both, man. But then his parents just say, yeah, why not? It's like, oh, if you're in like such a supportive environment, yeah, go for it, you know? And it's like, you surround yourself with people who can help you to better yourself in a way, and who you can gel with a bit more. He's living in with like this adopted family who don't really give a shit about him. There's like, every time he goes into the house, he's got to like put some money in a jar. The adopted dad doesn't even look at him. And there was a part where he leaves because he's got this new job and he's got like a tenancy above the shop. And then the guy just doesn't even look at him. He doesn't even speak to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part was really sad. He's like, oh, thanks for taking me in. It was just like nothing.
Yeah, he's lived there for like, what, like 10 years maybe? You just get to grips with like how lonely that is.
Yeah. And it kind of just goes to show like what being in a supportive environment versus being in a non-supportive environment can do to someone. And you kind of have that with like the astronaut that keeps returning throughout the movie. But obviously he wanted to be an astronaut as a kid, and his parents were like, yeah, of course you can do that if you want to. And then after they die, that dream kind of dies with it, and you kind of see this astronaut returning throughout the film, almost just like a reminder of where he could have gone in his life if he still had that support and stuff.
That is actually really sad, now that you're saying it out loud. Now that I'm actually hearing the words.
But I kind of feel like the astronaut played a bigger part, maybe. The astronaut like kind of guides the hand as it's making its way back to Naufel after it's been severed. There was like this really powerful scene where like the astronaut's just like standing on a sign over the motorway, and it's like got his flag in his hand. It's like this white flag as the hand prepares to jump. And I think the flag kind of indicates that he's done something that no one else has. The hand has gone all this way to fight all the odds. And I also think that like, because it's a white flag, that kind of indicates surrender, and maybe that's like a surrender to the inevitable, and it ties in with these themes of fate.
Yeah, definitely. Something we haven't actually talked about yet is the animation, which I think is so good.
Holy hell.
The detail and everything is so beautiful. I love how obviously it was created using a 3D animation program called Blender, which is actually like a free program.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they use 3D animation to make something that kind of looks 2D-esque. Like all the characters have like outlines and stuff. And I think it looks really great. I think the whole film has like a lower frame rate than usual, so it like intentionally looks a little bit janky, but I think it adds a lot to the visual style of the movie.
Well, it makes it feel more personal. It feels like sketched.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't feel like this film could have been done with actors. Does that make sense? No. I don't feel like it would work. Yeah, there's no visual. You also can't do it
with like the style of the Minions.
No. Obviously, I think you'd like the normal, like just the characters, like on their own. That could be live action, but the hand stuff definitely not.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with Max. Like, could you imagine like a Minions-esque, like weird CGI? Oh, it would be horrible. It would just be so jarring to look at. Like, I would hate it.
Yeah, I think the animation style that they went with really is perfect for the film. Really suits it.
It's gorgeous.
Really well.
It's like
fabulous
so pretty.
How much emotion they can get out of just a hand. You've just seen a hand making its way through.
Oh my god!
I said the
same
Jesus
thing to
Christ.
Chris.
Yeah, there's like a shot early on where he first like escapes from this like the office where he wakes up in, and he just like sits on the
He slaps on the windowsill.
and he looks like Darcie was
done.
like, how's he got so much emotion from just this little hand? Because it literally just looks depressed and fed up.
Yeah, like he's just sitting there.
And it
like,
just does that from
fuck.
just the way it moves. I think that's just really, really impressive.
Especially if I can pick it up. Fucking hell.
Yeah. There's that scene where the hand like throttles that pigeon, which is insane.
Yeah.
It like gets into a fight where this pigeon has to grab it by the neck, and then like the pigeon's like flying around everywhere, and it like hits off like the end of the gutter, and the neck snaps. It's like crazy scene.
I thought you were going to talk about the one with the rats.
The rats.
That one was
are
fucking horrible.
Crazy. Where he's like under like the train
tracks. Yeah.
He's like the rats are just like biting him. That was an interesting scene as well, because a hand can't see or hear, but I guess it kind of can. It's aware of its surroundings, I think. But I didn't really mind that because of like the fairy tale nature of it. But then it's under like these railway tracks. These rats come out and they're like kind of sniffing the hand a bit. Where it's like it could easily have just battered them away, but because it retains these memories of Naufel, it knows he's a decent guy. He's quite sensitive and awkward, and then like the rats start eating him, which is crazy. Yeah. They still like bat them away with like this lighter. It's really cool.
It doesn't really help the rat's image, you know. Like I keep telling Chris that rats are really nice, and he's like, no.
No, I don't like rats.
I love them. They're so sweet. Obviously, not like ones you get for like fucking in the tube or whatever, but like pet rats are so nice.
I like
Recommend.
Gonzo from the Muppets. He's a rat, isn't he?
He looks nothing like a rat. He looks like some sort of like weird.
I think that's
creature.
why I like him. There's also the rat from Bananas in Pyjamas. He's pretty cool.
Don't remember that, but okay.
Mm. Let's fuck this conversation. Let's just rate rats. There's like sick like imagery of like the hand when it's like in the garbage truck, and then it like spins out. It gets out of the garbage truck, and it's like inside this tin of ravioli. And it looks like a hermit crab.
I think Chris was talking about that when it happened. He was like, "Oh look, ravioli." Oh
no, I said ravioli, ravioli. Give me the formula.
Yeah.
Chris, can you splice in a clip of ravioli, ravioli?
Sure. I won't remember, but
it's alright, I'll tell you.
I just found it quite interesting to see the journey that the hand went on, you know? And it's like it's interspliced with memories of when it was attached to Naufel's hand, and when it was attached to Naufel's arm, his wrist and his body, and it was part of him, and now it's like that connection's been severed, but he's still trying to make it back. He's trying to like reform fate in a way, but obviously that can't be done. So it's like this scene where he eventually does find Naufel, and his wrist is like bandaged up, so he just like lies there on the bed next to him, as if this is to say like, now that's done, like the connection's sort of been severed, you've changed fate and you've gone down this different path, and that can't be undone. So it's almost saying like, yes, fate exists, but you can change fate, but once it's been changed, you can't then go back to the fate that you were previously on.
Yeah, that scene with the hand is like actually kind of sad. Like him, like the hand, like trying to almost reattach itself to his body, and it just lying there, not doing anything. There's something quite sad about that.
I thought for a couple of seconds that maybe like some like weird plot twist was going to happen, that some doctor was going to come in and be like, "Oh my god, the hand is here. Let's reattach it," because it was obviously still like fully functional.
But he needs to have lost his hand, and I don't know about you guys, but it's completely fine with me when his hand gets severed, and it's not a surprise. It's like the blade is honed in on when he gets his wrist kind of caught in this blade because he's not paying attention to it.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So his watch gets snagged, and it's all to do with this recurring thing where this fly shows up, and from like a very early age, his dad told him, "Don't aim for where the fly is, aim for where it's going to be." And he can't even do that now. He clearly hasn't learnt his lesson. So he keeps aiming for where the fly is and not where it's going to be. And the result is that his watch gets snagged and he loses his hand. I think that was absolutely supposed to happen. It can't happen. You can't have the movie without that happening. It's such an integral part, because I feel that that's something that changes him as a person. He kind of looks within himself, and that's how he's like, now he's disabled. He's feeling bad about it, but in the end, he does like something that he thought was unthinkable, even when he had a hand. Even when he had both of his hands, he's trying to do this jump from the top of the roof over to the crane, and then in between the roof and the crane is just like nothingness. It's just a sheer drop, and if you fall down there, you're dead. But he does it without his hand, and I think it's like, there's also like a thing to do with like changing your fate, but also maybe I also saw it as like this kind of championing of the disabled as well. Like, yeah, you can still do it. You just, maybe you have to try a bit harder than everyone else, but you can do it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you said, like how the film's basically a fairy tale. Like, it's almost like the moral of the story.
Yeah. I wanted to get your feelings on the fly and what you thought the fly meant, because it's kind of popping up in different parts of the movie. I don't know what you thought that meant.
I don't really know, to be honest.
I didn't even think about it.
No.
I
think it's one of those things I didn't really notice.
No, neither did I. I'm
late.
so glad that you said that, because I thought for a second that there was like, I mean, obviously there, if it comes up quite a lot, there's obviously like some sort of like meaning to it. But I'm glad that you didn't notice it either, because usually it's just me not noticing shit that happens.
The thing I found with the film is the first time I watched it, I kind of just enjoyed it on a surface level, not really understanding much of the deeper themes or anything. And this time around, I noticed a lot more, and a lot more made sense to me. And I kind of left the film like, okay, maybe this is like one of those films where it needs repeated viewings, and if I carry on watching it loads, I'll pick up on more stuff that I didn't pick up on.
And
so maybe the fly is one of those
fly.
things.
Well, I think it's an allegory for fate. I think it crops up in integral parts of Nelfel's story. It's there after the car crash, when his parents die. That changes him. It's there, obviously, when he gets his hand cut off, and that's the reason he gets his hand cut off. It's because he's trying to chase fate where it is, and not trying to do things of his own volition, trying to branch out. So I think there was like this really cool scene, and it's in black and white, because the memories are in black and white, and it's this goat walking across this road, and the fly is on the goat. I was like, oh man, there was really powerful imagery, and you don't know its significance until later in the movie when the car crashes. We find out that it's the goat that caused the crash.
Yeah, I love how the film is like structured like that. How it's kind of almost like a puzzle where they put all the pieces in different places, and it's not till like near the end of the film that you're able to put the pieces like together. Like, especially with how they kind of lead up to showing the car crash, like it's this really important event in Nelfel's life that's kind of changed the course of his life and changed the path that he was going to take. They kind of hint at it throughout until they like eventually reveal it and show it towards the end. I think it's just like structured really, really well.
I feel like an idiot. I don't remember this goat thing happening.
No?
I do.
To be honest, I am quite tired, so I'm probably just
Yeah, well, I just remember it's such like striking imagery. It's like really close-up shot of the goat's eye. It was like really.
Yeah, how the fuck did I miss? How can you miss that?
It's so beautiful to look at. Honestly,
Oh,
Maybe you weren't
cinematography
paying
in this movie
attention.
Is
Maybe
stunning.
not.
Yeah, it all looks really great.
I felt bad for Nelfel though. I mean, he's kind of I don't know. I mean, he's pretty awkward, you know? And he doesn't interact with people the way like maybe you or I would interact with people, or just anyone else. But it's also just saying like, yeah, people are different, you know? Everybody has their own way of dealing with things. Everybody has their own way of interacting with people. And we shouldn't chastise people for the way that they do things if it's comfortable for them. It's not hurting anybody else, I guess. But like he was kind of like insular. He was kind of in his own head a lot. That's also like a thing that I got with like the hermit thing with the ravioli tin and the hands inside the ravioli tin. Is like using that for protection. And then like goes past this drunk guy and the drunk guy's like, what the fuck?
I think I would have said, what the fuck, if I'd seen a hand in a ravioli tin.
That was another. That was like, how does the hand know the guy is there? How does the hand know that he's drunk enough that just going past him as a hand wouldn't bother or anything? But like, that's not like a big gripe because, as I say, it's like I can take liberties with that because it is kind of like a fairy tale.
Yeah, because like hands obviously don't just walk around.
Yeah.
It's fairy tale logic. It's fine.
I think
What do you guys think about
voice
the igloo?
acting.
The who? The what?
The igloo.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, I think the voice acting's really great as well.
Yeah.
I've only
really
watched it in French, but I
Yeah.
think all the performances are great.
Mhm.
So now that Max has seen it in English,
The
how
English
was
is
it?
good. It's a good one, but I would always prefer to watch it in its native language.
Yeah, me and Chris said this.
Yeah, I didn't even realise there was an English dub until I think you watched it for maybe the first time. And
Yeah, we saw it
Yeah.
on the menu and we were like, ah, shit, look, you can watch it in all these languages. And me and Chris were like, oh, we should probably just keep watching it in French.
Yeah. Dev Patel is in the English version. He plays Naufel.
it's pretty good casting, to be fair.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's like how they got like Christian Bale to do the English dub of Howl's Moving Castle,
Oh, love it.
which I have also watched that version as well. But I will
Yeah.
always prefer
Yeah, so have I.
the original.
'Cause whenever they play it on like Film 4 or the TV, they're always like, oh, no one's going to want to read Japanese. Read Japanese? I mean,
Yes.
listen to Japanese. So they put it in English.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. I prefer watching it in Japanese myself.
Yeah, igloo. That's what
Yeah,
you're
what's
trying
the
to-
igloo? What?
What did the igloo mean?
I don't know.
What igloo are we talking about?
The igloo that he makes.
Oh, crying out loud, Darcy. You don't remember
He
the
ma-
igloo?
Did I don't know
He
if I even
makes
Did
an
watched
you
this
igloo
watch
film.
this
on-
movie?
I don't think so.
On the roof, and that's when he takes what's her name?
Gabrielle?
Gabrielle. He takes her
I don't
into
think
it
he watched it either.
and gives her the pizza and like reveals, oh, I was this
Oh.
pizza delivery guy. There's an igloo.
Right, yeah. No, didn't think about that either, to be honest. But I did like that where he was like, "Oh, look, it's the same pizza that you had," and she was like, "Ugh, dickhead."
You're creepy.
I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "Oh, okay."
Goodbye forever.
So, what did you think it was, Max? I'm interested now.
Well, I think it's a place for him to feel safe. I think it's a place for him to feel warm in a world that is very cold and not very nice to him. I think he's trying to relate to Gabrielle with this igloo, takes her inside of it because that's where he feels safe. That's where and he's built it with his own two hands. I really appreciated that, like, he built it using like his own carpentry skills that he learned and actually putting it to use, and we're seeing what he does with it. He's not an idiot, obviously. He's just a bit awkward, but he's clearly a very intelligent person. He's trying to reach out to people to make connections, and in a world that's kind of left him behind, I feel the igloo is a safer place for him to be.
Yeah. Or maybe he was just a big Pingu fan.
Yeah.
I just think it's
You just love
incredible
Pingu.
that Max is coming up with these things, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Thank you. I just
Like,
was just winging that one. Didn't
It's like
even have it written down.
It's like blowing my fucking head balls.
Your head balls, what?
Yeah, that's what they call eyes
Fuck
now.
knows. Yeah, head balls. Is there anything else that anyone wants to mention?
I like when the hand goes into a house and he sees like a baby in the bath. So the hand like crawls into like the baby's crib because it's crying, and this is also like showing. It's also like just an extension of Naufel himself. So he's like trying to comfort the baby. It's just like the hand resting on the baby, and then the baby like grabs the finger. It was like, whoa, that was amazing. That was so emotional.
That was a good scene.
It was
So-
good.
Do we want to get on to ratings then?
Yes.
Let's rate this out of pizzas.
Woohoo!
Lovely. Have a good pizza in this movie.
Yeah.
We're all ruined.
Cheese with extra onions.
It literally looked like it had no cheese.
Yeah, it literally just looks like
Tomato base with onions.
Which is my idea of hell.
Same.
Yeah. Well, he fucked it up, didn't he?
Ugh, idiot.
Yeah, this is a really, really great movie. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did this time around, because I did really enjoy it the first time around. It was one of my favourite movies of 2019, but I just kind of fell for it a lot this time around. I realised just how like deep and meaningful it is. That's something that I didn't really pick up on as much the first time around. So it's definitely one that I'm going to have to watch again in the future. I'm going to give it 10 pizzas out of 10. Great movie.
Mm-hmm. This movie means a lot to me. I think it's, and even just like with those final scenes where he has jumped, and you're kind of hearing it on like the tape recorder as he makes this jump. He's already done it, and he does make the jump, and he's just like, he gets over to the other side and he's cheering. I'm fucking cheering with him, and it's so impactful. It's like, yeah, you create your own fate, you decide which direction you take, and he fucking did it. And I felt at that moment, yeah, you know, you take life's punches, but in the end, try to make something for yourself, and everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay in the end. Brilliant. I relate to it so much, and I'm going to give it 10 pizzas out of 10.
Oh yeah.
I really liked it, but I can tell I didn't like it as much as you guys, because I saw the ratings and I was like, damn, we could have had a near perfect score on this film, but alas, that is not to be the case. I don't really have a particular reason for it either, actually, because I really like this film, but with all the other like 5 stars that I've given out recently, I feel like it's not quite on that level for me. So based on that, I think it's an 8 pizzas out of 10 pizzas for me.
Yeah. Still a high rating.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad rating, but we could have had another perfect score.
Could have. Not today.
What a waste.
Maybe on the Scooby Doo episode.
Ooh.
10s across the board.
Yeah.
10s across the board for my bisexuality. Yes.
Okay. Next up, we've got a movie that I recommended. I wanted to recommend this movie for a little while. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on it. It's the 1951 movie, Alice in Wonderland, directed by Clyde Geronimi, Hamilton Luske, I think, and Wilfred Jackson. And it is a movie by Disney about a girl called Alice, and she's young and she's curious, and she sees a white rabbit in a waistcoat. She's like, I might follow this rabbit. She falls down a hole, and then she ends up in Wonderland, and she meets an array of different crazy creatures who kind of, they're weird and they're wacky, and she just wants to find the rabbit, and no one's helping her. This is a great movie, I think. What did you guys think?
I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like it. There's just all this pressure on me to speak now. Right, so where do I begin? No, don't get me wrong. I didn't hate this movie. I actually thought it was very nice visually, and obviously the story is classic in every single way. Like, I can't even fault that. But I think what really got me was how everyone was very annoying, and I can't get on board with that. Everyone was pissing me off so much.
Yeah, it's like a very fast and loud movie.
It was grating on me. It was like sensory overload for me. It wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest issue with it as well. I found quite a lot of it, like a lot of the characters I found kind of annoying, which is a shame because at the same time there's a lot of characters that I thought were really fun, and like there's a lot of comedy that I found really funny in the movie, and there was a lot of sections where I was like, yeah, I'm really enjoying this, but then it was like followed up by something where I was like, this is like just really obnoxious, and why is everyone yelling?
Yeah, I feel like I struggle quite a lot with with things that are like very jarring to me, like especially like things like what was that that fucking caterpillar thing, and it kept going why, and I was like, I'm literally gonna throw myself out the fucking window. Like stuff like that really gets to me. But I don't know, because I really wanted to like this film. Well, I mean, I don't hate it. It's complicated. I have a complicated relationship with this, where it's definitely better than any of the other versions of this that I've seen, apart from the weird one that we watched.
Stop motion version by Jan
Yeah.
Vankmeyer, whatever his
That
name
is probably the best one I've ever seen.
That
But
one is great.
I can't do it. Like, I just find stuff like that. It's just like there's so many colours, so much noise. Ugh. Medically, not for
overload.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just too
Medically, not
much for me.
Yeah. I get it. It's not a spoiler to say that this is all a dream. In the end, she wakes up and it's all been a dream. So, with this information, I think it's more a movie solely about Alice and not about any of the characters, because they're almost just extensions of her and her own psyche.
Yeah.
She's like just this little girl who's definitely unfulfilled with life, and just the way she sees, she's just like sitting in a tree. She's got to read books that don't even have any pictures in them. Who gives a fuck about books without pictures?
Yeah.
She goes into her dream, she falls asleep, and she's like, I could create a world of my own, go to Wonderland. I think it's clearly an allegory for extreme drug and hallucinogen use. Absolutely, I get that from this.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of
I can
weird
see that.
dream logic. Yeah, and just like shit happens just because. And they're like, this might as well happen. Why not? That's why I love it so much. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's almost like just weird vignettes just stitched together as you goes from place to place, interacting with these weird characters that are fucking useless, and they don't help her at all. And no one's her friend. She just wants to see the White Rabbit until she decides, fuck this, I'm going home.
Yeah, like almost plays like an anthology film in a way, because there's like so many different
pieces,
weird
yeah.
characters that are completely disconnected, and there's so many like different stories going on.
I think the thing that saved it for me was I actually love the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
something
it's an
about
iconic
him.
character.
He's cool as hell. He's the one that's the Winnie the Pooh guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
Is it him?
sounds
Oh, yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
like Winnie the Pooh.
I
It's bloody
was like,
bonkers. Yeah.
I was like, Chris, if I close my eyes, it's like watching Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. I like the Mad Hatter a lot, played by Edwin. He's like the one character who's like meant to be obnoxious, but I actually found him really funny.
He's so funny.
Yeah, because
A lot of this I'm like howling out loud. It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's
It's like actually genuinely really well written like jokes that have aged really well, which is rare for like Disney of this era.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, it
I'm
was
just like
like-
waiting for some overt racist messaging.
that's what I
But
was
it
thinking. I
never
was just
comes
about to
up.
say. That's
And
what
it's
we
a
were
shame
waiting
that that's
for.
the bar for early Disney, but it is.
But like you watch something like Pinocchio and like that's like filled with jokes, but normally the joke is like Pinocchio gets kicked in the bum or something, and that's it, and it's like
Yeah.
not really funny unless you're like a baby. But this has like
Pinocchio's like
genuinely
a
really
horror
great
movie.
jokes.
Pinocchio
Yeah,
is
it's fucking
terrifying.
It is
Yeah.
terrifying.
I actually have a poster of it. When I was younger, I had a poster of it in my bedroom, like a door-sized poster. And I'm not surprised that I'm scared of puppets. Knowing that was staring at me for the last like 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
There's something I don't appreciate about the live-action remake that they did of Alice in Wonderland, where it's like,
Which one?
it's not a remake, it's a sequel. It's like, fuck you, okay?
Wait, what?
It's like,
Which
we're going
one?
back to the live-action one.
Tim Burton one.
Right, so
Tim Burton
the
one.
first one is meant to be a sequel, but
to
it's a
this
remake.
one.
Yeah, because she's
supposed
like
to be
all
a
grown
sequel
up.
to this
She's
one.
like 20.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's like, I've gone back to Wonderland, and all these people, they're like, oh, look, it's Alice. She is the one.
Is this another Disney
it's our
film?
friend Alice. Yeah, they have the rights to it.
Well, tell them to fuck off again.
But obviously, like first, it was a novel by Lewis Carroll.
Oh yeah.
But
We
there's, like,
knew
something
that
I don't
part,
like
luckily.
about the fucking remake sequel is like these people aren't her friends. These people are not her friends. What are you talking about? And then they try to spin it like it was real all along. No, it wasn't. This is batshit insane. It can't be real. None of these people can be her friends because they're all insane, mad people.
I don't really see
Yeah.
how. I don't really see how that can work. If you literally saw in the original that it was in her dream, how are they then going to turn around and be like, "It was real"?
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
it
when
literally
they
wasn't.
made sequels to Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a line in the remake where like Johnny Depp is playing the Mad Hatter and he says, "Why is a raven like a writing desk?" And he says it so seriously with such like passion. He's like, "Oh, this is the most important thing ever." But it's like, dude, in the original movie, fucking. Well, the original movie. In this one, in 1951 movie, he's just the Mad Hatter says it, and he's like, "Why is a raven like a writing desk?" He's got like a teapot on his head, and Alice is like really trying to study this, and he's just like, "Who gives a fuck?"
yeah, I thought it was funny. Like,
It's just nonsense.
do you know what? That's the bit that kind of surprised me. Was that obviously I was finding like loads of characters really, really jarring, and then Chris went, "Oh, we haven't even got to the Mad Hatter yet," and then when the Mad Hatter came, we were like, "Oh." Okay.
He's mad.
Yeah, he's just crazy.
Yeah, but he wasn't as like annoying as everyone else, and I thought he was going to be really annoying.
Yeah. I obviously watched this film like a fair amount when I was like really young. I didn't really remember much about it, but I remembered the Mad Hatter scene, and I like always thought that was like right at the beginning of the film. Like I could have sworn that she like chases the rabbit down into Wonderland and then meets the Mad Hatter straight away, but he comes in like 20 minutes before the end of the movie.
Yeah, I really build up to him. That scene where like she falls down the hole is hilarious to me. She's like trying to follow this rabbit, and then like she just slips and falls down this hole, and a cat's looking at her. She's like no, and then like she's not even like scared. She's not like at all perplexed by it. She just like looks up at the cat. She's like, "Goodbye, Dinah. Goodbye." It's hilarious. Like, I guess this is happening. But the Mad Hatter is a brilliant character, I think. The Mad Hatter in the March Hare scene is absolutely fantastic. It's just a bunch of crazy shit at this tea party. And I don't know what you guys thought of the music, but personally, I really like the music, and probably my favourite song is the Unbirthday song.
Yeah. I do like the music, but there was very little that really jumps out like in my mind. So I didn't find loads of it super memorable.
I don't remember any of it. All I remember was at that tea party scene where he cuts that cup in half and goes, "Only half a cup," and I thought it was really funny, and I don't know why. I just thought it was the funniest
That's hilarious,
thing.
yeah.
I don't remember any music whatsoever, but that I remember. Oh, apart from like all the... Are we talking about like music, or are we talking about like when they burst out into song? Because the only song I remember is the one about painting the roses. That's the only one.
Painting the roses red. We're painting the roses red.
That one.
That's a great one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. I do like when Hatter like dips his plate in the tea and he eats the plate. Like, fucking hell. This guy's got a mouth of steel. And like the white rabbit comes in. He's like, "I'm late," and then the Hatter's like, "Well, no wonder." He takes his watch and he like, "There's a bunch of wheels in here," and he like undoes the watch and then like puts like jam and butter in it, and then like stitches it up together. He like clasps it back together again, and then like the watch explodes, and they're like, "Oh, it's a mad watch. It's going crazy."
Poor white rabbit.
Yeah.
That's all you have
Just
to
wants
say.
to get that the rabbit like suffered so much. His like entire home was destroyed.
Aww.
That was a fucking fantastic scene as well, where like Alice goes into this house. She like eats something.
She
and then
becomes the
grows-
house.
she grows so big that she just becomes the house. Her legs are poking out. Her arms are poking out. That was like legitimately creepy imagery. Like, whoa, this is weird. This is really weird. And then like they get one of the best parts is the lizard with the ladder is Bill, and he he goes in. They're like, "You're gonna be a great hero, Bill," and the dodo's like pushing him up the ladder. He's like, "What the fuck is that? There's a girl in the house is a girl," and then like he goes down the chimney, and then like Alice sneezes because of all the soot, and then because she's so huge, she like sneezes and it shoots Bill through the chimney up into space. I'm like, whoa. Bill is definitely dead, and like, it's so
Poor
fucking
Bill.
funny because Dodo just like looks at it and he was like, well, there goes Bill. And then that's it, and he's just dead. It was hilarious.
I liked the bit where you got Tweedledee and Tweedledum show up, and they just like they tell the Walrus and the Carpenter story, and it kind of just breaks away into like almost like this short Disney movie just randomly put in there.
Yeah, that was like
No.
I took that as like a dream within a dream.
Yeah,
But that was a really good scene. Where like the Walrus eats the oysters. Darcie doesn't like it, but
I just
I liked
didn't like them.
yeah,
Not the story. I just didn't like them.
You didn't like the Walrus and the Carpenter,
or Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
or
Yeah, just
Tweedledee and
them.
Tweedledum. They were
Tweedle,
probably the
fuck
most
off.
annoying parts of the movie for
Yeah,
me.
like right now,
I
like
was
magnify
I
that by
don't
100.
care about what's happening with these dudes.
No, when Alice was like, "Oh, I guess I could stay for a couple of minutes," I was like, "For fuck's sake, Alice,
Yeah, just leave.
get a grip."
You don't have to stay for every white boy who asks. But I like the Walrus and the Carpenter story because the Walrus just like his goal is to eat these oysters, and he brings them back to his for dinner. And he's like, "Yes, you're on the it's oysters on the menu tonight," and then he eats them all. And he's always saying like, "The time has come," and he's singing this song about like how the time has come to something other things and cabbages and kings, and then he's eaten all the oysters, and the Carpenter's like, "You just ate all those oysters." He gets really mad at him because he thought they were their friends, and then
Oh.
it's just it's like it's quite sad, but then it's really funny when the horse is just like the time has come, and he like smashes out of the door.
Actually, I like the walrus, but mostly because I actually quite like walruses.
Yeah,
Yeah, walruses are cool.
They are cool.
horses are epic and cool.
And when they're
See
eating
them on, like-
oysters, it's cool.
Like those David Attenborough documentaries, they're like flinging themselves off of cliffs, which is hardcore, but like they do kill themselves.
Oh,
yeah,
sad.
yeah, I've heard about that.
Really,
Yeah,
like,
that's not
upsetting to watch. I would recommend that. Just watching those. Yeah.
I think
do like the
all the character designs throughout are super, super creative. I think
Mhm.
just them and just kind of like the entirety of the film generally, I think just really captures that like youthful feeling of imagination and dreams super well, especially like through the character designs where they were like filled with so much personality and they're all so unique and distinctive.
I think that's what I like about the Cheshire Cat, is that he's just like so fucking bizarre. But like, I think what I liked about him the most was the fact that this could sound really stupid, but obviously, like, you could have like a pet cat in your house, and when you're younger, I feel like maybe this would just be me, but I feel like I would imagine like how the cat would talk or like what it would do if it was like had a person features. I've forgotten what you call that when
Yeah.
when that happens.
If it was just a regular furry.
Yeah, if it was a furry.
Like the design of the Cheshire Cat, like is so like distinctive and like memorable.
Mm.
Like when I think of cartoon cats, that's like just
One of the first ones
the
you
first
think
thing
of.
I think
yeah.
of.
I think of Garfield, but
Like-
he's not far behind.
There's so much personality in the drawing, like the design of the character, where it's like so unique. Like it's not like any other cartoon cat. I think that's like an impressive thing to do when you're drawing an animal, because like you can just fall into the trap of making it look like every other cartoon animal. So to make it look distinctive and memorable is something impressive, I think.
Well, yeah, you've got to make it like the Druggo cat, so it has to be like purpley pink,
Yeah.
or otherwise it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Really vibrant use of colour,
Mm.
especially for like Cheshire Cat. I think he's a fantastic
Yeah.
character. There's like a point where he's like trying to talk to Alice or like trying to guide her. He's like this guide, but he's shit at it. She's like, I just want to go home, to be honest. And he's like, you got to go to see the queen because it's her world and you're just living in it, baby. So she's like, oh, I'll go there then. She's like, but I don't want to go among mad people. He says, oh, you can't help that. Most everyone's mad here. The quote that launched 1,000 tattoos. And then he says, like, oh, you may have noticed I'm not all there myself. And that was a really creative way of having him just like dip out and disappear. Because it's like, he's like, stripes are kind of curling away and he fades away. It was really cool.
Sorry, I yawned and then it set Darcie up.
Oh no.
They say it's contagious.
Yawners here.
The yawn is the biggest epidemic.
We're just really bored talking about Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, sorry. I recommend such a boring movie.
Oh no.
The animation in this movie is really great.
Oh yeah, I love it. I do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I know I've been like slagging off this movie quite a lot, but visually,
yeah,
very nice.
So much detail and like all the backgrounds and setting. It's
especially
like,
for like when it came out, it's pretty.
I don't know. I feel like
this
is like kind of what you expect from this era of Disney.
Yeah, this is like
I meant like
threw everything in the kitchen sink at it. Like,
yeah,
I
just kind of meant the 50s.
Insane, super vibrant. Use every color.
Because they were coming out of like this period where like during the 40s, because of the Second World War, they were really struggling.
Yeah.
They like had barely any money, so they were making like super cheap anthology movies. And like in the 50s, they were kind of like, we can't keep doing that. We have to like put everything we have into all our movies. So they just like threw in all their talent and money into there. And I don't think it worked with every single movie, but you definitely got to admire the amount of like graft and work that was put into, especially this movie.
Yeah, like back in the, I assume like back in the 50s, I mean, even now people loved this film, but I bet back then it like blew fucking brain cells.
It was actually a gigantic failure when it
Shut
came out.
up.
It's a huge failure.
Everyone was a bit of me back in the day.
Critically, it was like really hated, and like commercially, it was a big flop. It wasn't until like a decade or two later that it like suddenly grew this massive cult following.
Were there reasons for that? Was it like financially shit, or did people just not like the film?
It was a bit of both.
It's
mostly,
also quite out there, you know?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Very weird.
It is fucking weird.
Not really like anything else at its time. It's not like any other Disney movie.
That's
like,
why I thought it would have
especially
worked,
of its time.
personally.
So I think a lot of people are like, what is this? Like, I think it came out just after Cinderella, like a couple of years after that.
Oh, okay.
So people were like, what is this like crazy like psychedelic movie?
Yeah, they should have done the 60s. That would have been better for them, but
yeah, they came
It's
out
like
in
a
the
drug
60s.
trip.
It would be a huge.
yeah, it would have been a hit.
I think that was when it started picking up because it like,
Yeah.
was shown on TV by Disney, and then afterwards it grew a huge following.
It's always
Well, I'm
wrong place,
glad.
wrong time sometimes, isn't it? But I'm glad that they did pick it. Well, I mean, I'm glad that it did become famous in a sense, because
Yeah.
I guess that's what got the ball rolling for them
Yeah,
again.
now
I
it's one of
suppose.
the classics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in my
Yeah.
opinion, it's the best early Disney movie.
How early are we
I have
talking
it.
though? Like what
Well, like
point
before the
does
Disney
early end?
Renaissance, you know? 'cause
Yeah,
they had
pre Little
Pre-90s?
Mermaid, so pre
Yeah.
80 late 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like, maybe people didn't want to see a movie about a girl who like cries so much. She like gets really big and then she cries so much that like the room floods and then she goes small again. She's like, how do I get through the door? And then she just like cries a lot and then she sails out of the door in this bottle. It's
Yeah,
like,
fair
whoa.
enough.
Yeah,
The
that stuff's
water
like so,
animation is fucking insane in this. It's
It
so
is.
cool.
That stuff's like so memorable. Like I haven't watched this film since I was probably like 6 or 7. And that stuff's like stuck with me. It's like just like always in my head.
Yeah, you talk about
Yeah.
iconic imagery, and I think quite a lot of the characters are like they're like stamped in time, sort of. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just think of them, you go, oh, the Disney film. Because that's the first thing I think of. I don't think of the fucking Tim Burton films or Johnny Depp dressed as a twat. I don't think of any of that.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a staple movie. There's like, yeah, just really creative. I especially love like the water animation. There was like a part where she's in this bottle and she's trying to get help from people. She sees the dodo and then like she gets washed up on this shore and then like they're like running around in a circle around this rock and the dodo keeps saying, he's got like this fire with him. He's like, everybody keep running around the rock to get dry. But like he's the only one who's dry because he's on this rock, and like the waves keep just smashing into them, and they just have to keep running around the rock to get dry, even though it's absolutely futile. And he's like, it's just weird. It's just weird. It's like really strange dream logic. You could imagine a child having this kind of dream. It's bloody weird. Children have some fucked up nightmares, you know?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what this film just tries to constantly capture, like that, just that weird, like childlike dream sense.
Yeah. Darcie, you said you didn't like the caterpillar.
What a fucking arsehole. He's an arsehole. I don't like him. He's annoying. Like,
yeah, I did find him really annoying.
Yeah, like literally every 5 seconds. Why? Who are you? Why?
Who
Why?
are you?
Literally.
He's like smoking out. He's got this pipe of like
That
shisha
bit,
or
right.
whatever. He's like smoking out.
Yeah,
Alice,
it's like
and he's like smoking letters into the air.
It was especially the delivery, the way he spoke, that I found really annoying.
This is it, but like visually it looked really cool. Like I like the fact that he was like basically like smoking out like little vowels. Like he was just smoking. It was like E-O-U. But like I fucking hated him. I hated him so much that when he left, I've never been happier.
And then he came back.
Oh yeah, and then he came back and I
back.
just wanted to cry.
And then she literally eats a mushroom. Like, I've never been more convinced that this is an allegory for hallucinogen use.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
One half will make you big, one half will make you
The
small.
other will make you small. And she's like, I don't care. And she just eats it. And
she should have
cruises
eaten
towards
both
the
of them at the
tree.
same time.
But that's
I
like,
would've been curious.
that's exactly what that song White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane's all about.
Yeah, I thought you were going to bring it up because that was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
When,
One pill
when I
makes
said
you
it.
larger
Great
and one
song.
pill makes you
Yeah.
small. It is a
Yeah.
great song.
One of my favourites.
I would attempt to parody it right now, but I can't even get my voice that like high. Well, not even high, but you know what I mean. Couldn't even hold the note.
Do we have anything else to add to the movie?
I have nothing.
We didn't talk about the Queen.
Oh yeah,
It was like your gauge on her.
Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
The Queen of what Chris originally called the Queen of Spades, and I nearly died of laughter.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, and then I went, I'm pretty sure she's called the Queen of Hearts, and then later on I was waiting for, because when they do the little drum roll and they go, this is the Queen of, and I was going, which one is she then?
Yeah, in my defence, I was going like from my memory, and I haven't seen it since I was a child. So
I actually dressed up as her once for a World Book Day,
nice.
but I never read the book or seen the film, so I don't know where that fucking came from. My mum was like, it's an easy one to do. Just dress up like that. And I was
They
like,
made us read the book in school.
Oh.
No, I was never
Yeah.
that fancy.
Yeah. I always
Actually,
preferred the
yeah.
book as a kid.
I grew up
Oh,
in a
I
town
bought the
school.
book recently, so I'm excited to read that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I've been meaning to reread it actually. Now I'm a bit older and actually like reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I know how to read.
Yeah.
I'm rocketing through it. Yeah. I felt like but the Queen is like an allegory for like, I don't know, politicians maybe. So like,
Yeah.
or like people in power who like,
Well, yeah, she's the Queen.
exactly. The Queen Victoria. And,
Yeah, it's like very obvious that like her personality and the way she talks was like inspired by Queen Victoria.
It had to be, didn't it? Like, it vibes.
Yeah. Like, Alice is like, I'm trying to find my way home. And she's like, your way? Always here my way. Like, yeah, okay. She's detestable, I guess. But
She was also
yeah,
a
she's
brat,
the
yeah.
villain. I like when like she like sends Alice to trial because like she beats her at croquet or some shit, and then you have this
She's a
massive
sore
trial. And
loser.
the king is like this little tiny dude who's like, well, mother, we're gonna have a trial for her. She's like, fine.
I actually
They get,
love
like-
the fact that the king was tiny.
Yeah. They like get everyone in from like who we've seen previously. They get like the Mad Hatter back, and they get the March Hare and that little like mouse thing who was in the teapot, and like she has to like open the teapot and like ask the mouse like what he thought of the situation, even though like they weren't there, and it's just like singing this weird side like twinkle twinkle little bat, and then the Queen's like, that's the most important piece of evidence we've heard yet.
I just remembered that the Queen of Hearts was played by Helena Bonham Carter in the
Oh yeah, in the
remake.
the live action ones. Honestly, I wouldn't even recommend those films to anybody in the world. Like,
No.
I didn't particularly love this one, but if you're gonna watch any version of it, apart from the
stop motion.
the stop motion one, this is the only one, isn't it? This is the only version that you'll need to see, I think. I mean, why did they even remake it? Like, I'm getting so angry. And I'm just,
There's a mandate they have to remake it because they have to.
They just didn't need to. They just.
Are we good to go on to ratings before Darcie starts crying?
I think I might
Yeah,
start
why not?
crying.
We could go on to ratings.
What are we gonna rate it out of, Chris?
Do it out of Cheshire Cats.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah, I liked the movie. I would probably watch it again because I really like this era of Disney, and it's definitely far from the worst I've seen. Yeah, I remember even as a kid I was never in love with it, so rewatching it I kind of just cemented the opinion I had when I was younger. But it's definitely a good telling of the book, and I don't think it's a bad movie, and I completely understand how someone like you, Max, could really love it, because I do think there's a lot to like about it, even if I don't love it personally. I'm going to give it 6 Cheshire Cats out of 10.
Nice. Yeah. I do love it. Maybe irrationally so. But I also understand why people would feel maybe indifferent towards it or even not like it at all. It kind of hits exactly what I'm going for. It's very easy to watch. It's only like an hour and 15 minutes long. But what elevates it is that it is super creative, and with its technical aspects, it's also just really weird, and I like that about it. It's just it's just one big, this may as well happen. I like that about it a lot. It kind of defies its logic. It's not really got logic, it's just a bunch of shit that you watch and you're like, oh, okay, saw that. But I think it pulls it off really well, because it could just be like a bunch of vignettes stitched together and it's just a bunch of shit for someone's film reel, but it does flow cohesively for me, and I do get a lot from it. And it's, apart from being really well done in its presentation, it's also just really interesting to get more out of it every time I watch it, and it's also super funny. I was really just howling out loud at the just on my own. Brilliant. Love it. Best old Disney movie. I think even I don't know if they topped it really until the 2000s for me. So I'm gonna give it 10 Cheshire Cats out of 10.
Nice.
I kind of have the same sort of mindset as Chris. You kind of like a movie, but you can see why other people love a movie. And with this, obviously, this one's another one of those classic movies that most people love, or everyone I've ever known has liked it anyway. I mean, kind of anyway. But yeah, I can kind of see why other people like it. Yeah, just for me, I just didn't really vibe with it. I don't know whether it's just me as a person, I can't really gel with all of the shit that is going on at once. But yeah, I don't really have much to say. I don't want anyone to take offense at the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of it. No one here, of course. I'm talking about our lovely loyal listeners that always complain when I slag off Disney. But yeah, that's where it's go. Straight 5 Cheshire Cats. I do love the Cheshire Cat though. He's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd pet him.
Well, although we've got different opinions on it, it'd be kind of boring if we all thought just one solid way about it.
Yeah, definitely. That brings us to the last pick. Go ahead, Darcie.
Yes. I also am biased because I chose a film that I love with all of my being.
Another Disney movie as well.
Yes, this time we got a Pixar film from 2008, which is actually really early because I thought it was a lot later than this. But this is Wall-E, directed by Andrew Stanton. And where do I even begin with this? So this is a film about Wall-E, the last robot left on Earth, and he's been cleaning up the fucking Earth for 700 years because the humans have all abandoned it because they've probably global warmed it to shit. So they're all on a spaceship out in space, and it's just about Wall-E, and he meets this other robot who has detected life on Earth and that they can go back home, but it doesn't go to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's good.
It is good.
It is good. It's really bloody good. Some say this is the last great Disney movie.
Well, that's what me and Chris were saying.
Pixar movie. They had like
yeah.
a thing that came out like we have a bunch of ideas and the last one is Wall-E. It's like this is
Yeah,
the last
they
one.
like all the films they put out in the 2000s like all came from like a brainstorming weekend supposedly, and this was like the last film that they came up with during this this period.
The golden age, boys.
Yeah.
Golden age of
I mean, you
Pixar.
got Up afterwards. Up's great, but after that
Up is
it's kind
good,
of like barren. There's like two
Oh,
movies I really like, and then the rest kind of shit.
Aww. Some of it's okay. But yeah, I got to admit, this was
No.
probably the last of the like great ones.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
well, what else you got? Like Coco was good. Soul was good.
Yeah, that's
That's
like all
about it.
I'm thinking of when I like think of films I really like that they've
I really
done.
like Brave.
I don't.
I didn't.
But
Okay. I'm on my own here. Okay.
I wanted to love Brave, but I just don't, you know.
I could see
But-
why you might not have liked it.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Brave. We're here to
Yeah.
talk about Wall-E, the
Wall-E.
best film ever.
Wall-E.
Wow. So yeah, it's good. And I like the fact that it didn't start with like, it's the year 20 billion or whatever, and humanity has let the world rot. And, they've abandoned Earth and they've left their trash in their wake, and now all that remains is Wall-E. Dun, dun, dun.
I think that would have been great if you
It
would
would have sucked.
you
It
started
would have
it like
sucked.
that.
It doesn't
Just
need
to
it.
like do it, yeah, because a lot of this movie, especially when it's on Earth, it's very silent because Wall-E is just like a guy on his own. He's just this little robot dude. All he has is this little cockroach friend who's indestructible. He just goes around making skyscrapers out of trash. And I do like that you understand what's happened because like it's basically just been taken over by like one big company, B&L, who have like decided the world is trash, we've trashed the planet, let's leave, and we'll leave the Wall-E robots to clean up, and then we'll come back and it'll be nice. Oh. Yeah, okay. So here's one big problem I have with this movie, is that it's not something that can really be changed, but I'm sorry, it does get to me. This was made by Disney. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw a review on a Letterboxd after we watched it that said the irony in big corporate Disney making this movie, and I was like, hell yeah. Like obviously back in 2008 when I watched it with my dad, I wasn't thinking, God, Disney, the evil corporate giants that they are. But now that I think about it, I'm like, holy fuck, this is the most ironic thing that I've ever seen.
Yeah, you watch it and there's a lot of like moments where they're clearly like saying that big corporations and consumerism can be bad and it can corrupt and like destroy everything.
Well,
Which is, like,
newsflash.
super-
12
super
odd years later. LOL.
Yeah. And then they're like, here, don't you want to buy a Wall-E plush toy? Don't you want to buy a fucking Eve toy?
I
Look,
would.
We've got the Lego version of the big ship. Don't you want that? Fuck you. How dare you?
I would have a Wall-E. I can't lie. I'm part of the problem. I buy into the stupid shit.
But at the same time, I do think there's like a good message about the way we treat planet Earth. Like, step away from like the capitalism stuff and like the way we treat the environment. And there's a lot of good stuff in there that I think is really important. And like it's just like a kind of like a warning of what could happen if we don't stop treating the Earth like trash.
Yeah, quite literally, yeah.
Yeah, we were saying it back in 2008. It's only gotten worse.
Yeah.
So
Like I was 12 when it came out, and even then, like it still provoked a lot of thought. Like I still thought a lot about how I treated the world, and I imagine there'll be a lot of kids who watch it and they'll kind of think differently about littering and stuff like that. And I think that's a good message to have.
for sure. I think like as we're introduced to like Earth as it is, and it's like this trash planet, like a bunch of trash orbiting it. She looks fucking sick. The animation is beautiful, and I really like the visuals for just what we're seeing of planet Earth and how it is turned into like this kind of desolate wasteland. It's like Mad Max or some shit, and it's just Wall-E making skyscrapers out of trash. There's like something I really love about this movie is just like the camera shots and how they use the camera to like zoom. They do like some of my favorite like zooms, just like really cool like crash zooms that like I expect from like, I don't know, like the new Suspiria or Lars von Trier movie. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, this is like one of the first like CGI like 3D animated movies I saw that kind of tried to treat it more like an actual live action movie in the way that like the camera's like used. Like, 'cause a lot of the time I feel like it's just kind of static the way they show each shot, but they kind of seem to actually treat it like they're using a proper camera. Something that Pixar seem to do a lot. Like you got Toy Story 4 that has like the fake split diopter shot.
Yeah, it's really commendable. I love it. And I like just like, even the sound design feels really vibrant and real. Like, holy shit. It's just like, the world is just like silent. It's like deathly silent. It's just got this one little robot trudging along, making beeping noises or whatever. And he doesn't really, because he can't talk to anyone. So he's like, what's he going to do? So it's just like this eerie, creepy silence that really feels like, yeah, the world is empty.
Yeah, there's the sound design in this film is just incredible. Like the sound effects that they like obviously made and all of that is just like super creative and I think really well crafted. And I loved like how Wall-E and Eva's voices sound, how obviously they were recorded by actual people but then manipulated to sound robotic, and it does sound robotic. It doesn't sound like a person, but it's still filled with so much personality and emotion and all of that. Like sound design and sound mixing, I think is just perfect.
I felt like if you had two robots talking like humans, I feel like it would be a bit weird.
Yeah, but I also appreciate that it's not just like beep boop, beep boop.
I see what you mean, like audible words, but they're not human.
Not even that, just like the fact that there's actual like personality and like shift in tone, like depending on emotion and stuff like that, which you can only get from like actual talking. I think they managed to capture that really well while also making it sound like it's a robot.
Yeah.
Robots
I like
with
their
emotions.
dynamic a lot. And I like just kind of how they find each other. And maybe you could argue that two robots wouldn't fall in love with each other. But damn it, it's a Pixar movie. Of course they can. It's really sweet. It's
and
so
cute.
like adorable and wholesome.
It's
really
like
nice.
This film is like a massive hug. Like, from start to finish, I actually think I was squealing. I love this film so much.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's
Wall-E
that,
and
like,
Eva
really
are
cool.
adorable.
They are. There's
Especially,
that scene
like,
where like he takes
we're
her
up in
into
space.
his. Sorry, he like takes her into his house and then like shows her all his stuff and like sometimes she like destroys some things and he's like, oh fuck. But then like there's like that really nice part where like the TV is on and like it's showing the couple dancing on the screen. It's really like interesting to see how Wall-E is clearly experiencing humanity after the fact, and like just all he can get from it is the things he finds in the street and like the movies they left behind. So he like kind of he develops a sort of sense of like, I guess you could call it romance, you know, if he's watching all these like romantic things, he's taking this information on board. He's like, maybe I can have that. I'm a robot though.
Max is describing the couple from Hello Dolly. The very... it's from the 1950s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of like 1950s identity in there. Like they like clearly embrace like 50s sci-fi. Like especially with like you've got the all the clips when they're in space of like the view of the future, like how they view like people are gonna be, and it's like very like Cold War era-esque. Like reminds me a lot of sort of stuff you see in like 50s B movies and shit.
Oh, I just love this film, guys. I don't have words. Like I just love it. Like I don't know. I just every time I think about this film, I always think about the same scene where he's up in space and he's like touching the stars and shit. It always made me want to go into space and touch stars, which I know would burn my hands off and kill me.
Yeah.
But
It's like ice.
Worth it.
yeah, is it hot or is it like
stars.
cold?
I don't think there were stars. I mean, like,
Oh, it's
come
like
on.
the
You can't
galaxy
have,
or something,
like,
wasn't it?
stars. I mean, I thought it was just like ice. Like, you can't have stars that close to each other.
Either way, I wanted to touch it because I thought it was cool.
It was really nice. Yeah. Just
I think that's when I
beautiful
sort of
cinematography.
fell in love with space. I think because I've always been really into space, but I think like that like cemented it. I think I got home from watching Wall-E and I was like, space.
Yeah. What a baller move to like just hang on to this spaceship as it launches, though. Just from the outside,
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm doing it. This is, I have to find my friend." So he just hangs onto this spaceship and goes to wherever.
Well, he has nothing to lose, does he? He's like the only robot left on this desolate like rock. He may as well just go and see what happens.
Yeah,
I think he's badass.
it is indeed. I love that, like, the first 40 minutes of the film, there's no human dialogue. So, like, I think for the first, like, 5 minutes, there's not even any dialogue at all. It's, like, pretty much like a silent movie. And apparently they watched loads of, like, Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton movies to kind of understand, like, silent movies and, like, silent physical comedies so they could, like, put that into Wall-E's character, and I think it works like really, really well. Like, there's multiple scenes at the beginning of Wall-E like sorting out the trash, and he's finding all these like different things, like a fire extinguisher, and he finds like a wedding ring in a little box, and he like throws the ring out, and like because he's impressed more by the box, and like all those bits are really hilarious, and like you could tell that they really had a lot of love for that classic silent comedy.
Yeah, we all love a good box. It opens and closes. Who doesn't love a good box?
Yeah.
There's
I
like
love
that
that
part
bit.
where he's like, even though Eve has found the plant and she's like shut down, he's like still trying to take care of her in a way. He's like wrapped her up in like Christmas lights. He's like hauling her around in like a trolley.
Putting her on a trolley.
then, he's like trying to like have this romantic moment where like he's looking at the sunset and he's like, wow, this is amazing. He like pries her robot arm out of its just where it is because it's like suctioned onto her. He's like trying to hold her hand, and then the arm just like slams back into her, and he's like he's just trapped.
Yeah. There's also a bit I really like where he's like, where Eva first comes to Earth, and he's like following her around because he's like intrigued by this other robot, and she's like in an old shopping mall, and he like is following her around, and like she turns around and he tries to escape, and he accidentally hits a bunch of trolleys, and he's like running away from these trolleys that are just like all going after him, and he tries to get out the doors, but the door won't open. And he gets hit by all the trolleys, and then the doors open strate away.
He's like
It gets me every time.
He's like the last hopeful romantic, isn't he? He's hopeless even. Fucking hell.
Yeah. That was also like a really great use of camera work. It's just like it's like the camera's like fixed in this one position, but it's moving using like this weird zoom in kind of effect. It's really cool.
Yeah, that is great. Very like documentary-esque, which I like.
Yeah. There was like when he's like sailing through what you think is water on this like trolley boat, like, but it's actually just like oil and sludge. Like, whoa, that was awesome. It's also a way to like communicate just how desolate we've left the earth. Like, you
we
understand
really have.
why we had to leave. The rivers are made of fucking oil. Disgusting.
It does sort of like beg the question of like, what the fuck happened to the earth before that? I don't know if anyone else thought that. Maybe they didn't care, but I kind of was like, what the hell did they do?
We're gonna find out real soon.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Trust me.
The sad thing watching this film is like like just thinking about how the world has only gotten worse since
Yeah.
the film came out. I feel like we've not learned our lesson, and we're just going like heading further and further into this direction.
I mean, it literally is going to happen.
Yeah. What do you mean Wall-E didn't save the world? What do you mean this movie didn't save us? I like how like the humans have just gotten like really complacent and fat, and they like sat in their hover chairs. They don't even have like an awareness of their own surroundings. So like when their fucking TVs that appear in front of their faces get turned off, they're like, "Oh, what the fuck? This is a place.
So we had a pool?
Where the hell am I? We have a pool? Yeah, it's fucking crazy." You learn like, yeah, over time they've actually like lost bones because they don't need like in as many bones anymore because they've just gotten fat, and all they do is sit and just like eat. Oh my god, it's disgusting.
Yeah, that part was like so like, I don't know, when I was first watching it, I was kind of like, oh, maybe they're just like, you know, fat because they're just like sitting down like day after day. But then they just had that like weird bit in that video where it's like, well, you guys lost a little bit of bone, but it's all right. Just run around the track a little bit. And then that captain goes, oh, we have a track? And I'm like, you're the only one who's like not, like, obviously he's on the screen all the time, but he can see like what goes on, whereas everyone else is just sort of like looking at this one tiny thing that's in front of them. I was like, surely you should know there's a track here of anyone on this ship.
I had like a little like gripe and nitpick where it was like, yeah, you probably lost all motor function in your feet. These people have never used their feet before, but like when called to, yeah, it's a bit of a struggle, but they can do it. It's like, no, I don't think that should be happening, especially not with like reduced bone mass. It's definitely not how
because
it works.
because they didn't because if you've lost a couple like bones and like stuff, and if you haven't walked for years on end, I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, some of these people might have never walked because they're born on the ship, right?
All of them haven't walked because they have been in hyperspace for like, or wherever it is, for like 700 years.
Yeah. So chances are,
none of them have walked.
None of them have ever walked. Yeah, but I never thought about that before. But now that you mention it, that's
which also ties into
how's
the
that
fact
work?
that there are babies in this movie, which begs the question: how are these people fucking?
Maybe they froze loads of sperm.
Disgusting.
That's also a good question. Oh my god,
like,
this
they're like on an
holes.
automated thing where like they just inject sperm into eggs, and like they're not even used by like people that are just out of the equation.
What, they just have babies laying down?
Maybe no one has sex. They just like all like artificially inseminate.
To be fair, I wouldn't even be surprised if like this, like in this space world, they were just sort of like pod babies.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like, it's got me thinking. It's really planted
it's quite existential to think about. Like, why even bother making more babies just to like prolong the human race? Like, what are you doing though? You're not really just survival for the sake of survival. It's like you're just growing up, living a life of like absolutely just like you just fat lumps just sitting on chairs doing nothing. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, and I was just thinking, like, what is... So, obviously, this thing's, like, run by robots and things, right? I realised that I'm just picking this fucking apart now that I'm just, like, the cogs are going. But, like, so, if people die, where do they get buried?
Oh.
Yeah.
They, like, get thrown in, like, the outer space world. They probably get, like, put in, like, the airlocks and just, like, shot out into space. Or, like, cremated or something.
Okay, that might make sense. I mean... Sorry, actually...
Because it's all automated. The robots are handling it all.
Yeah, so they die. Yeah, maybe they get shot up into space, whatever. But
do you think they live longer now?
Maybe,
like,
yeah, but like, yeah, how does it work now?
Nowadays, people are living longer, but like in this like alternate future, if they are just fat lumps sat on chairs not doing anything, do they live longer or do they?
Yeah, because
there's no old people in this movie.
Yeah, and they serve no purpose. Like what do they do to humanity? Like, that was the other thing. What is the capacity of this ship? Because if you've got the whole 6 billion that was around beforehand, how many people actually live on this ship? Sorry, this has really got me now. Like, I'm like, anyone out there, answer my questions, please.
there was
Disney
obviously like the
themselves,
part
please
where
answer.
like they lose control of the ship and like the HAL auto wheel type thing was obviously just like a parody of 2001's HAL, who's like a robot who goes evil.
Oh,
tries
with the
to,
little
like,
red
just keep him out in
thing,
space.
yeah.
It's like, and then like the ship tips, so like the gravity goes towards like the very edge of the ship, and everyone's like falling off of their chairs, and they're like bloody useless because they don't know how to move. And I'm just thinking, this is a horrific scene because so many people probably died, probably suffocated.
Oh yeah, because they're so big that like people just probably crushed under their own weight.
There's like this huge celebration when like the ship like rights itself again, but those people at the bottom are definitely dead.
Do you know what? This film has become horrific now. What is go?
Wall-E is a horror movie.
But there's that the couple that have their like screens turned off and they start like noticing the world, and then they like meet each other and like
John
fall
and
in love.
Mary.
Yeah, that's wholesome.
Tribute to John and Mary being cute.
Yeah. Yeah. They had a moment of like the human inverse of Wall-E and Eve.
Yeah, I really love the character designs of Wall-E and Eva. I feel like they both have like so much personality and like emotion conveyed like through the subtle ways that like both of their bodies move. And I think each design is just like so unique and like instantly recognizable.
I was thinking that like they're not exactly the most. Okay, I know you just said unique, but I don't think they're the most unique looking robots. But like they are.
They're
at
not
the
super
same time.
intricate. Like
Yeah,
the design is
but you
quite
can-
simple, but like very
Exactly.
memorable.
Yeah, like
That's all you
I don't know,
need.
especially with like Wall-E himself, because he's very like dirty and like I don't know, he's got like those like fucking tractor belt things, or I don't know what you
Yeah.
call them, little wheel things, but yeah, he's got them.
Caterpillar tracks,
and, like,
yeah.
I don't know, like, and Eve just kind of looks like a pod, but yeah, you
Mm.
look at them and you go, oh, that's that, and that's him and her, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Well, it goes to show how bloody talented these animators are. Like, can create these kind
I
of
know. I
things.
feel like they don't
just
get
do stick in
enough.
people's
They really
minds.
don't.
They don't.
Yeah, the sad thing is like even the worst Pixar movies have incredible animation and great like character designs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look at The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, that film's great.
No, but the animation's good.
I think that, I think that's the thing though. Like I think we've said this before, but obviously there's a lot of relying on the animators being good at their jobs to make sure the movie attracts enough people to make it a success. I'm pretty sure that film was a flop though, but I mean in general, not for that
Yeah, it
film
was.
itself.
Yeah. Another really great part about this movie is, I think, the music. They just can't
Yeah, I
go
was literally
ham with.
about to bring that up.
There's
Ooh, it's
lots
so
of world
good.
out there.
It's really interesting. I was like, I don't know if you guys remember the song. It's probably my favorite piece of music in the movie, where like like the ship that Wall-E is on is held onto. It like docks on the Axiom, which is the big ship that everyone's on. And then, like when Eve gets loaded off, there's like this weird kind of like instrumental that's going on, and I was like, this is like listening to like a light version of Animals as Leaders. This is crazy. It's really good.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like it sounded like it sounded like Les Claypool is like the guitarist or bassist from Primus. Like it sounded very much like that. And I had to look up to see if it was that, because he has like a very distinctive tone that they kind of like recreated in that bit. But that bit I
Yeah.
really loved.
It also just like fits as well with like the robotic side of the movie,
Yeah,
where it does feel very electronic.
Yeah, I think all the music is so good. There's like so many great like memorable themes. Just really adds to the emotion and like exciting parts of the film really well.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I had the problem of hearing that song from Hello Dolly, and it's the only song that I heard for the rest of the film because it got stuck in my head.
Yeah.
So I actually don't know what music you're talking about at all, but I probably would if you played it to me.
Yeah, probably.
I liked it when the sound of the Apple Mac startup was done when Wall-E was fully charged. I'm like, oh, I didn't know Wall-E was made by Apple. Great.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I nearly called it the Windows startup yesterday, and just before I hit send, Chris turned and went, "It's Apple Mac, Darcie," and then I had to like delete it and then start the message again.
Yep.
So
Steve Jobs lives on.
Yeah, Steve Jobs paid me to change my message.
Steve Jobs, one of the founders of Pixar, so.
I actually really like that noise though. I was telling Chris that there's something quite for me there's something quite nostalgic about the startup Mac noise.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Oh, did we talk about the part where like they're in space and like Eve thinks Wall-E's blown up, but then like he comes out with like this fire extinguisher and they have this like dance through space. It's so well done.
Oh, do you know how it gets me? How it gets me? Oh my god.
Just like dancing through the stars.
It's so great.
And Eve is like leaving this kind of trail of purple, blue, and Wall-E has his fire extinguisher.
Little fire extinguisher.
So it's like particles of like white going everywhere. It's so good.
And then the bit with the captain on the ship, and he's like, "Define dancing," and then he's like looking at the window, and he's, I love this.
And that's great too, where they don't have to say like, where they don't have to say, and look, these guys are dancing. Even Wall-E are dancing. Which is something they do if like they remade this movie and made it live action. It's like, oh,
yeah,
I think we're doing some dancing here. Like, oh,
Max,
thank God they don't do that here.
Do we have anything else to add to the movie? Or we could get on to ratings?
I love this movie. That was my addition.
I love this movie. Let's get on to the ratings.
Yes.
Should we rate this out of Twinkies?
Twinkies?
Yeah, because he finds a Twinkie in the film.
Okay, right.
There's like
a... like goes into
there's like an urban myth that
what Twinkies
and cockroaches are indestructible and would survive like a nuclear apocalypse.
I won't be surprised. Them things taste like chemicals. They're probably made out of like
apparently they can survive for thousands and thousands of years.
That is disgusting. What a horrible thought.
Yeah, Twinkies it is.
Yeah. This is easily one of Pixar's like masterpieces. Just so creative, so well written, well directed, visually incredible, fantastic animation. I guess there's like issues, just the plot, some things that really don't add up, but I don't have an issue with that. I can easily see past all of that, so I'm happy giving it 10 Twinkies out of 10.
Yep. All of that and more, and I love it, and I watch it a million times. I do still have a problem with the fact that it was made by Disney. I don't like that. It's not really something that could be escaped unless it was like made by someone else. But then who could do it as good as Pixar? So I kind of take the good with the bad on that one, but it does feel like one big ironic hypocrisy to me.
Yeah.
That's about like all in terms of major criticisms, because the rest of it is so beautiful and really well done, and it is a classic, and it is one of Pixar's best. It might be Pixar's best. I don't know. What's my favorite Pixar movie again? Forgotten. This is up there though.
Mine's Toy Story.
Oh god, yeah. So maybe Toy Story
I
2
love
is
Toy
a bit
Story,
better.
I'd agree. Toy Story 2 is the best one.
That's top tier. Yeah. Love it. I even think that maybe there's something above that. I've forgotten. Whatever. Maybe I'll divulge that.
I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm scratching my brain here. I'm trying to think of it. No, never mind.
Cracking up.
Cars 3.
Yeah, Cars 3 is probably, that's it. 10 out of 10 for Cars 3.
Both of
and
you.
It's 9 Twinkies out of 10 for Wall-E.
I've just been repeating how much I love this film, so I'm not going to bore everyone to death, but I love this film. 10 Twinkies out of 10 Twinkies.
Wonderful.
There we go.
Those are the animated movies, and they were all good. This was a really good week for me. I really just enjoyed all of them so much. So, next episode, we've got episode 49. We're supposed to do the Scooby Doo marathon, but considering next week is the first week of the month, we have to do a free-for-all. So we have to delay the Scooby Doo episode, and I'm sorry. Sorry, we're all upset about it. No one more than us is upset. We had to delay the Scooby Doo marathon. Has to be done though, because we're doing it free for all in episode 49. But we'll do the Scooby Doo marathon in episode 50. Mark my words. So, yeah. Now we've got some recommendations to do for episode 49.
Yes, indeed we do. I picked my film literally just as we were about to start recording. It was like between two films for me, and I knew what you guys were picking, so I literally just worked out what would be the shortest.
How could you know?
I read your
what I'm
mind.
picking?
I'm also thinking.
Yeah, I just decided to pick the shorter out of the two because it's like half an hour shorter, and your guys' films are quite long. I'm going to pick a film not seen since it came out in 2013, but it's on both of your guys' watch list. Should be interesting. Picking 2013 film The Dirties, directed by Matt Johnson.
Oh, hell yeah. It's one of those, I've had it in my watch list for like the longest time.
Yeah, it's a cool movie.
Very cool. Yeah, nice.
I'm now excited.
So, about a month ago, I told Darcie to watch a movie, and you guys have been telling me you know what movie I'm going to pick. I'm like, you don't know what movie I'm going to pick. This could be any movie at all. You have no idea what I'm going to pick. Why are you assuming these things? So throughout, they're just like, yeah, we know exactly what movie you're going to pick. You think I'm so predictable? Actually, like, it's insulting, you know? So I've been planning this for quite a while, and the movie I told Darcie to watch was Blade Runner. She watched it and she loved it. This time, it's been quite a while since we reviewed Blade Runner. I figured for episode 49, let's... You think I'm so predictable, honestly? It's really upsetting. Anyway, the movie I'm going to recommend is my favourite movie, Blade Runner 2049.
Hey!
Imagine if you were like, we're going to watch the 3 short films that came out before 2049.
No,
There's
that's my
3
pick.
short films.
I want to talk about my favourite movie in depth and raw.
Yes, I remember liking that film, so I'm excited. Oh my god, this week is so exciting. Chris better not get sick again. I will be absolutely livid.
Yeah.
All right, if I get sick, I'm still coming.
For sure.
I think my pick could go either way for you guys because I feel like the premise might be up your alleys, but I don't know if you're actually gonna like the film. So my film is called Telstar, the Joe Meek Story. I've watched this film like so many times. Me and my mum and my family used to watch it all the time because we had it recorded. And essentially, if I tell my mum that I'm going to watch Telstar, I'm going to pop in the next episode what she says. But I'm 1,000% sure she's going to go, God, that's a great film. And I'm going to say same.
All right.
I don't know if any of you... I don't know if anyone knows anything about it.
I've never heard of it before, so...
No.
I've only heard of it because you talk about it all the time.
Oh, I fucking love it. But yeah, I'm actually scared because I feel like you guys might hate it.
Well, we'll see. So great. So for episode 49, that's next week, we will do The Dirties, Blade Runner 2049, and Telstar. What a range. Till then, maybe you want to start on the show we're about to review in 6 episodes' time.
Oh, shit.
For episode 55, it is called The Fall, and is on the BBC, if you don't know where to get that. And I think it's on Netflix too. Yeah, we've also got social media accounts. We got YouTube, The Sunday Movie Marathon, plain and simple. We got Twitter at Sunday Movie Pod. Facebook is at Sunday Movie Marathon. And for those so inclined, we do have a letterboxd account, and that is at Sunday MM. Sorry, Sunday MM, capital S, capital MM. Brilliant. What an episode. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Sunday Movie Marathon.
Bye. Ooh, what was that? Ooh, sound like an owl.
First, of course, is Mario, who will be played by Chris Pratt.